Am I the a-hole for wanting to share our pregnancy news with my parents, without my wife? Me, 37 male, and my wife, 33 female, learned that she is about 8 weeks pregnant. We are delighted but also terrified. It is the first time for both of us. She has asked me to not share the news with anyone until we get to about 12 weeks, when the pregnancy will be stable. So I have been keeping it, even though I really want to share the news with everyone around me. A key detail is that we are currently in long distance. She lives in the same country as her parents, while I am an expat and live abroad. She will move in with me into our new house in 1 month. She decided that she would like to tell her parents about her pregnancy before she leaves her home country, so that they can share some of the joy while they are together. This way she can also do one of the ultrasounds with her mother and experience this special connection. This is all understood, and I told her I support her in how she wants to handle the pregnancy information. She did share it with her parents, and they were overjoyed. The house is in a festive mood, they cannot stop smiling and laughing, etc. I am still under an information embargo though. Note, I did ask her to let me share with a couple of select people, for my own mental sanity, since I really needed to be able to open up to a friend. She was fine with it. Now to the drama. I asked her if I could also tell my parents, to which she responded that she prefers me to wait for the 12 weeks. By that time we will have moved in together in the country where I live. I said fine, but then she asked me that we reveal the news to my parents together, she and I. I can honestly not tell why, but I would like to tell my parents myself. There are no other grandchildren in our family, and I have been living away from home, like 3 continents away, for the last 12 years. So in my mind, I really want to share this with my mom and dad and also have the same joyous family moment like she did. My wife took it badly. I think she feels excluded or that I do not want her to somehow be part of my family, which on my part is absolutely not true. I just feel like I do not want this to be a joint announcement sort of situation. I want it to be intimate between me and my parents, and right after, we could all have a joint video call or whatever. She is very upset. I reminded her that we did not announce to her parents jointly. She is saying that I did not express any desire to do so, which is true. I did not even think of it. But since she is clearly communicating her desire to me, it is different, and I should hear her. Sure, but I still want this to be my moment with my parents. When I say it out loud though, I want to announce our pregnancy to my parents without my wife. It sounds wrong. Somehow it is like I have this righteous feeling of possessiveness over a piece of news information. I am conflicted. Am I the a-hole? Note, she and my parents do not share a common language and communicate via translator app.
This statement tells me that you already know the answer. When I say it out loud though, I want to announce our pregnancy to my parents without my wife, it sounds wrong. Why, yes, it does. You are the a-hole.
Yes, seems to be the consensus. I'll go do some growing up and call my wife and apologize for being an emotional idiot. Thank you.
You are the a-hole. Having a child is a joint venture and she will be doing all the heavy lifting for the next 9 months. You are acting like she told her parents without you there just to have a special moment to herself, and you know that's not what happened. You know it was done under special circumstances. If you were living there you'd have probably been involved. So don't act like some child getting upset because someone else got something they didn't. Seriously, why would you want to announce this to your parents without the women you supposedly love and who is actually carrying the child?
Yes, I am acting like a child getting upset. Reading the comments made that quite clear. It seems to have been "it is not fair" sort of emotional response. I am being ridiculous. Thank you for the reality check.
The difference here is also that she's the one who is pregnant. You are the a-hole.
Yeah, the next post will be him asking why his mom can't be in the delivery room if her mom can be there.
Ouchie. But I got the memo. I am the a-hole. And no grandma in the delivery room.
You are the a-hole. Were you going to fly back to her country to share it together with her parents? She's moving to your country. You can wait and share the joy together, whereas it was difficult to do that logistically with her parents. This is a good opportunity for you to be selfless.
Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to be honest with his family about his name before he forces a name on our son that none of us want him to have? So my husband's family have a male name that gets passed down through the generations. It's Andrew George. My husband was given that name at birth, so we're 3 of his male cousins, his dad and 5 of his dad's cousins, then his grandpa and 2 of his grandpa's cousins, his great uncle and cousins, then great-great-grandpa is how far we know it goes back for sure. My husband never liked his original name. He got the nickname of Sunshine in middle school, and when he started college he started going by Sunny, and then legally changed his name after graduation to Sunny, and a middle name he chose for himself. But he never told his family about the name change, and they call him Andrew, and some of his siblings call him Drewy. When we met, my husband was already going by Sunny, and we talked about the family name, the fact he didn't want to pass it on, the fact I also didn't like passing down family names as first names, and we had agreed to giving our kids their own names. We also both had a thing for more unisex names, and before I was even pregnant, we had 2 boy names and 2 girl names chosen with an order to how we'd use them. Now we're pregnant, and we're having a boy, and my husband has decided he doesn't want to upset his family, and he feels we should use the family name for our son. I told him we'd agreed not to use it, and he was putting me in a position to give a name I don't like to our kid. My husband said we could call him something else. My response to that was he wanted to deny me a say in the name and let me give our kid a nickname that won't be legally usable on documents. He told me his family would be pissed if we passed up on this, especially as our son will be the first grandchild. I asked him if his family's feelings and opinions were more important than mine, and he said no without any hesitation or doubt. But he asked me to do this one thing for him. I told him he should try being honest with his family before forcing a name on our son that none of us want him to have. He told me I didn't understand, and I told him I did, but how could I trust him if he decided to flip that switch so hard that he's willing to pester me into doing this? He told me I wasn't being fair bringing up his name change, and I told him he was the one not being fair expecting me to name my child in accordance to his family's wishes. Am I the a-hole?
Not the a-hole, and when you give birth, make sure the hospital staff know not to allow your husband to fill out the paperwork.
I'm hoping it won't get to that, but I will keep it in mind.
Don't keep it in mind, do it.
And then legally changed his name after graduation to Sunny and a middle name he chose for himself. Tell him that you will not name your child a name he was so desperate to get rid of that he secretly changed it legally. Tell him that he might have a point if he legally changed his name back to Andrew George, but even if he did, you had an agreement. If he persists or tries to force you to name your son something neither of you wants, you will tell them it's not happening because your husband hates it so much he changed his own name. This is a hill worth dying on. He wants you to give your son a name he himself hates because he can't bear you have an uncomfortable conversation. That is all kinds of messed up.
This is the whole situation in a nutshell. Hubs would go back on his word to mom and saddle the child for life with a name that dad hates to avoid a 10-minute conversation. He disliked the name so much that he paid to get rid of it, but has still not told his family. Grow a spine, buddy.
Not the a-hole, he didn't like being stuck with the name himself, but wants you to do the same with your son, just so he can avoid an awkward conversation. He agreed that you wouldn't have to use the name. He needs to tell his parents. He needs to do this one thing for you and his son.
Not the a-hole, he didn't like being stuck with the name himself. He hates the name so much that he legally changed his name from it, so why the hell is he insisting on naming your son a name he hated so much? Why is his family's feelings so important now, but they weren't when he legally changed his name? How will he feel when his extended family are happy but his son resents him for forcing a name on him that he didn't even like in the first place?
This is one of the dumbest traditions. And the man didn't want the name himself, he has to grow a pair and stand up to this dumbness. And if the family can't handle it or sees it as disrespect, screw him.
Am I the a-hole for letting my niece go hungry by not stopping for fast food on a longish drive? My niece is 8 years old. I was asked to take my niece with me to our mother's. It is around a 3-hour drive and we pass by one of the Great Lakes. The kids eat breakfast, we get there for lunch at my parents', and then on the drive home I will stop and have a picnic at the lake for dinner. The dinner is always some fruit, sandwiches, junk food, dessert, and some veggies then I pack at my mom's in a cooler. The whole day went well and we were driving home, we stopped by for picnic dinner and my niece refused to eat. She said the food looked gross and wanted chicken nuggets.
I informed her she can eat what was provided or wait about 2 hours until she gets home to eat. She chose to wait and complained the whole ride home. Everyone else ate their dinner by the lake. I dropped her off and got a call later about how I starved my niece. My sister and I got into an argument where she called some a jerk for not getting her food that she would eat. Also, I know it will be a question, no allergies or anything like that. There was a spread of different sandwiches, so I know there is one she would like. Seen her eat PB&J before.
Not the a-hole. No one has starved in 2 hours. If she was genuinely hungry, she would have eaten at the picnic. Mother should have a gentle conversation with her daughter about using manners when someone has prepared food for you. It's fine to decline to eat it, but she shouldn't be calling it gross. Fast food shouldn't be an expectation or a default choice either. Disclaimer: I was a fussy eater as a child, who was indulged far too much.
Enough with this gentle parenting crap. The kid had the option to eat. They can use this as a lesson.
Gentle parenting is actually what OP did. You can eat now, or you can wait, but I'm not going to let you scream until you get your way without threats or screaming at the kid. OP's sister is a permissive parent, thinking it's appropriate to throw a fit over OP not caving to the kid's fit. It gets a bad rap because of the name and permissive parents misusing the term, but GP is just explaining things to kids in ways they can understand and holding them accountable without veering off into verbal and physical abuse.
Not the a-hole. You told the kid what would happen if she didn't eat. She didn't eat, and you what said would happen, happened. She is old enough to understand consequences. Since your sister wants to complain, let her know you are sorry that your niece feels that way. And to avoid these type of things in the future, you will no longer pick her up or babysit.
The kid was being a kid, but it's bewildering to me that her mother would feel so entitled that she'd act this way after someone took care of her kid. Any reasonable parent would just be so grateful to OP and apologize for their kid's behavior. I know mine would have given me a talking to.
I'm surprised how many friends have kids of 6 to 10 years who demand fast food burgers or chicken nuggets or fries, and shocked at how often my friends jump in the car and go get that unhealthy food for the kids. Sounds like she is one of those. It's called spoiled.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.